What's going on, guys? MrYorkiesWorld here, and I am back again today with another PMDG 777 flight from Doncaster Sheffield in the United Kingdom, which is my local airport, all the way to Charles De Gaulle in France, Paris to be exact, in the 777-200 Air France livery. And we are literally just about to start boarding the passengers and obviously the baggage. Just going to open up the doors, ready for the passengers to actually get onto the plane. And I think the catering vans and stuff, the trucks are coming at some point. They should be around here. But let's just set runway heading, which is 200 for runway 20. And then eventually we'll get round to doing everything else, such as the fuel and payload and everything. But yeah, Air France livery, absolutely gorgeous. Loving it, loving it, loving it. So where are these trucks? Ah, there we go. There's the baggage. For some reason going in the opposite direction to what we need. Okay, fair enough. But the catering trucks are on the way anyway, so we should be all catered up. Pretty funny to watch them going all over the place, it's just strange. Right, so let's have a look. So, we need to put in the fuel and payload. So, fuel, we are actually going to be taking 39,489 pounds of fuel. And payload, to be honest, I have no idea. I'm just going to set it maybe like 78 or something. There we go. So once this is done, what I'll do is get the checklist up. Here we go. Have a look. Oxygen. So we need to test the oxygen. So let's just test it just to make sure it's all working. It obviously will be, but this is obviously procedure. So there we go. Testing those two in the emergency as well. Everything's working fine. That seems fine to me. First officer side now. Same procedure, just testing all three settings just to make sure that everything is actually working flawlessly, which, yeah, it's working fine. Didn't expect any other. So we can tick that off. Flight instruments have already set the altimeter and the heading, and the parking brake is on. So now we can switch on the ADIRU and arm the emergency lights. The fuel switches can go on. And I will also put the packs on. There we go. Start the APU. Everything looking good. Let's just make sure that all the doors are actually in the position they need to be in, which they're not because I need to open them for the catering. And if we look, we can see the magical catering man walking into the aircraft. It's pretty funny actually. Cuisine Air. Never heard of that one before, but there we go. So if we take another look outside at this angle, you can see them going into the aircraft and where have you. We've also got the air stairs and where have you on the left hand side of the aircraft for the entrances. So we're going to go to the POSINIT page, Echo Golf Charlie November, and we're at gate 5. And we'll take the GPS position and put that in there. Go to the route page, and we've already got a route set up. So there it is. There it is. Finally found it. Request, and we'll just wait while that's available, and then we will load it. And hopefully we should be ready to go very shortly. What I am going to do is just bring up Active Sky Next and check the temperature, because we may need to turn on the heating. So it's about 8 degrees outside, so I'm just going to put the heating on medium, I think, for the pilot and the co-pilot, the first officer. Just put it on source medium. There we go. Halfway, it's half and half, like the source is on half and the heating's on half. Just make it a little bit warmer in the cabin. So uplink's ready, we'll load it, and in a few seconds it will be ready and loaded and everything. We're going to put a flight number in. I think what I'll put in is like just my usual one, which is Air France 685, I think. So I'll stick that in there. Just save it just so it does it in future. And the uplink is ready for the PerfInit page. We don't want to be at 370 because we're flying south or towards the south, so it needs to be an even number. So we'll just put 360 in there. Or maybe no, we won't. It's not accepting it. Okay, we'll just set 360 on the MCP anyway, and it'll override it. Flaps 5, centre of gravity, V1, VR and V2. We'll put V2 speed in a second. and the altitude we'll literally just put 360 in, and we will also just switch on the VORs, traffic and data, along with the flight directors on both sides. Just get ourselves set up and ready. LNAV, VNAV. Close the doors for the catering, because they've finished putting everything on the plane now, so that's good. Getting ready for the passengers, which will be boarding in a second. TA and RA, we'll give it a quick test. See whether I'm actually doing things correctly. Hope I am. In the meantime... There we go. TDCAS test pass. So we're all good. We're all almost prepared. We should really begin to see the passengers at some point. The bus carrying the passengers. We won't actually see the passengers, which is weird. I thought that you might be able to see them like boarding the plane, but unfortunately GSX doesn't have that feature as of yet that I'm aware of, so we can't see real passengers boarding, but we can hear them. So let's just literally try and just correct this. 360. Oh, it's accepted it. There we go. 360, thrust limit takeoff. Everything's fine. You can hear the passengers in the background. So I'm literally now almost ready for takeoff. Just need to set a few more things. Literally, I'm just making sure that everything's fine. Let's go to the checklist. Right, all this is fine. We've set all of this up. Let's just do the trim. I've had problems with the trim. I don't think this is going to work, but the keys are mapped, but for some reason they don't want to work. No, it doesn't appear to want to work. They're not making any changes whatsoever to the trim, so I've no idea why that is. I don't know whether I've got to do it at a different time, but anyways, we'll just deal with it. Switch on the lights, and that's that checklist complete, the before start checklist. So the next checklist will be before taxi. So we'll just leave that a second, because we don't need to do that just yet. Just have a quick outside view. The passengers would be visible there in real life, obviously, but GSX doesn't want to show them because it's not built into it at the moment. Right, baggage loading is in progress. So all the passengers are on. That were quick. I should imagine it would take a good half hour or something for the passengers to be boarded in real life. But anyways, it's not all about realism. You can see the baggage in the background coming along. Slowly but surely. And eventually they will get here. We've got some moving traffic. This is all part of the Doncaster Sheffield package. Is the traffic on the ground and all the graphics that you see around. And obviously the rest of it is courtesy of Rex and Active Sky Next. So I can't believe I cannot believe, guys. I'm just going to make this point that I have almost made it now to 150 subscribers, and I want to thank you all in this video because my dream is obviously to make a living from doing stuff like this, and you know, it's something I'm really interested in, so I would like to pursue it. But I want to thank everybody who has supported me so far. I really do appreciate it. You know, share the videos as much as you can. Subscribe if you're not subscribed already. I can't even speak. Subscribed already, not subscribe. Whatever I'm saying. Just thank you so much for the support. It means a hell of a lot to me. So 15, 30, and I think I'll do just like 100 miles out, just on the fixed page there. But yeah, thank you so much, guys. It really means a lot. Don't forget, you can also suggest stuff. If you want me to do a particular flight in a particular aircraft or whatever, you stick it in the description or in the comments section even, and I'll do my best to accommodate. I can't do every single flight because I don't have every single add-on or every single plane at the moment, but I'm always wanting to upgrade and do more, so thank you very much. And you know, just suggest me what, you know, tell me what you want me to do. So here comes the baggage anyway. I'll stop rambling about my channel and we'll get back to the task at hand. That guy just got his arm took off. So the baggage has begun to be loaded now, or started to be loaded. I can't even speak. Seriously, cannot speak lately. I have no idea what's up with me. So I do like the animations. They've obviously taken a lot of time to go into the animations. I haven't actually done what I said I would do and do a video detailing all the features of GSX and, you know, different tweaks and stuff that you can add to it to make it, you know, run really good on your system, depending on the aircraft and what have you. Because believe it or not, there are little tweaks that you can do to make it more realistic with GSX, but I'll cover that in another video. In the meantime, we'll just carry on like getting all the baggage on the plane, getting ready to go, and we'll see what sort of flight we're going to have. See what sort of landing I'll be able to do. So I'm getting better at the landings. Actually managing to disengage at 1,000 feet every time now, apart from when obviously there's limited visibility, but I'm managing. I'm doing it. So let's just close the main exits, or the main entrances slash exits here, because obviously the passengers are all on now. Everybody who needs to be on is on. I've no idea why the hell he's left out those 3 or 4 cases that's in that thing to the right hand side, that trolley to the right there. Are they for like a different plane or something? No idea. Right, so the baggage is finally loaded now. So we will close the cargo hatches and everything else, since we don't need any of that now. And we are almost ready now to mess about with the hydraulics and get all the hydraulics turned on. So we'll switch them on, those two, then those two, and those two. That's all okay, and we'll remove ground connections now. Get rid of those because we don't need them anymore. And I'm just going to have a quick check just to make sure all the doors are closed, because we don't need any doors open now. So they're closed, and all the cargo hatches and everything are closed as well, so that's good. So we're near enough ready, so let's... we've already got the engine page open. Let's have a quick look outside. Everything's looking good. Everything's where it should be. So I think we are near enough ready now to request that GSX push us back, and we will head towards runway 20 and make our takeoff. So I have requested it. Whereabouts is the tug? It's outside somewhere in front of the aircraft. So let's just have a quick look. There we go, it's in position. Got all the lights going. Traffic's out of the way. GSX is ready for pushback, so that's a good sign. So it's going to tell us to take off the parking brake very soon, and we'll pull out of gate 5 here, and hopefully go straight to runway 20 without any delays. There shouldn't be any delays, to be honest. So it's just locking the gear now, so that's good. Everything's set. Let's just set the V2 speed before I forget. I actually did forget about that, to be honest. Should have set that ages ago when I was putting all the MCP information in. But nevertheless, it's now done. So we're literally just waiting now for pushback to begin, or for the request to take off the parking brake. There we go. Release parking brake, so we've took that off now, and we should begin pushback. Start at will, so we've got clearance. There we go. Engine number 2 start. Spooling up. And we will open up the fuel flow soon. There we go. So everything is set apart from the trim, because for some reason I can't set the trim even though I've got it assigned to certain keys. I can't seem to do it, so it's a bit of a shame, but I'm sure we'll manage without it. We've got a little bit of fog coming in by the looks of it. It's not perfectly clear, but it shouldn't pose a great threat to us, to be honest. We should be perfectly fine. GSX is pushing us back onto the taxiway there nicely. And engine number 2 should be started soon, so we can start up engine number 1, set the flaps, turn off the APU, and do all the rest of the pre-taxi stuff before we make our way to the runway. So there we go. Engine number 1 now is starting. I'll set the flaps to 5. At least we've got... I always do that when we've got one engine running at least. Fuel flow, there we go. I probably should wait while the aircraft actually come to a complete stop on the taxiway before setting the flaps, but I tend to just do it immediately, really, as soon as the engine number 2 is started. And we will soon be ready to go through the checklist. Alright, so we've finished the pushback, parking brake time, and we will go through the checklist, before taxi checklist this is, and just make sure everything is in order before we set off. So let's get the checklist up. Anti-ice, that's automatic anyway. Recall, let's do a quick recall, and we will also lock the overhead, sorry. So there's nothing on the recall, so that's good. Flight controls, where is it? Turn off the APU first. Everything's alright, so we'll have a look at the flight controls page. There we go. Right, so let's just test the controls. Forward and back. And we'll do the left and right. Looking good on the left, and looking good on the right. Rudder left, and rudder right. Everything's okay there, so we're not going to have any control problems, hopefully. Get back to the checklist. That's all fine, and we'll wait for GSX to just move out the way. Left and right are both clear, so we'll tick that off. And once the truck has moved out the way, we will put the taxi lights on. We don't want to blind anybody at the moment. There we go, taxi lights on. And I think, have a good trip, there we go, GSX. We are now ready to set off, so I will power up in a few seconds after that marshal's moved out the way to the left. There we go. Just applying a little bit of force now, and we have started moving. So hopefully we'll get off the ground pretty soon. We're just going to wait for the cabin to be ready before we actually depart, obviously. So we'll wait for that notification on the panel there. In the meantime, I'm loving the I love the ground scenery that comes with this Doncaster Sheffield package. It's actually very accurate. So you know, it's always a bonus when you get an airport like this and it's actually accurate to what it is in real life. And this is the part that I always struggle with, is making these sharp turns. It's not even a sharp turn, it's just like a 90-degree turn, but for some reason I always like struggle with them for some reason. I have no idea why. But again, we're looking at some pretty foggy weather by the looks of it. There's some fog in the background, so hopefully that won't cause any particular issues when we're actually taking off or landing over in Paris, but we will soon find out. Struggling to keep it on the taxi line here. There is a little bit of force blowing us around, I can feel, or sense, or see. It would be actually, it'd be a lot more realistic if this was like one of those simulators where the cockpit moves around and stuff to simulate the G-forces. Runway 20 is coming up on the right-hand side now. That's it, just on the right. So we should be able to turn straight onto there, make a very quick takeoff once the cabin's ready and everything. And we've already got the flaps and everything else set. We've completed the checklists that we need to complete. So V2 speed is 152 knots. And again, our cruising altitude today will be 360. Right, there we go, the cabin's ready. There's no traffic on the runway. I didn't expect there to be anyway, because we've not actually set traffic on. Never have traffic on at the moment, might do in the future, but at the minute I just don't have any traffic on. It makes it a hell of a lot easier, especially when I'm recording a video. Just get straight from departure to destination with no messing about. So here we are, we're going to pull onto the runway, see if we can actually line it up correctly. I don't know whether when we take off, whether there's going to be any wind pushing us left or right, but let's just start the clock. Toga in a second. We will just turn on the landing lights, turn off the taxi lights, and there we go, Toga. And let's see if we can actually make a clean takeoff here. Following the 6-second rule from V2, we will hopefully be off the ground in 6 seconds once we hit V2, which we are approaching very quickly now. Departing from runway 20 at Doncaster Sheffield. Here we go. 4, 5, and 6. I think that was it. I have no idea. Around 6 seconds. Positive rate. Gear up. Nice wing view for you there. My house is just over there in that direction somewhere. Not too far away. So, as I said, this airport's like literally 5 minutes away from my own house, so we get planes flying over all the time. It's pretty cool. Set the speed to around 235 just to make sure we don't go over speed. And we'll enable the autopilot since we're over 1,000 feet off the ground. That's what I always do. Let's just bring up the checklist after takeoff. Nice little view out the cockpit window there, and a nice wing view. Look at the scenery down there, that's fantastic, I love it. I've made some changes to EasyDock, by the way, so it's a little bit less smooth when I'm panning around. It sort of helps to give the illusion that the stutter that might be there isn't there as much. It helps me concentrate, because I can't stand the stuttering sometimes. But again, if you want to see my P3D config file, if it might help you, you never know. There's a video on my channel, if you check it out, you will find it. It's called My P3D Settings, I believe. Or My P3D Config File or something. But anyway, let's just bring the flaps up. And we are pretty good at the minute. We're just going to set the heading to the actual heading that we're heading in, as you do. Spam the altitude intervene button. That's the checklist complete. Flaps are up. Barometric pressure set. We will set the seatbelts to auto so that at 10,000 feet they automatically turn off as they would. Quite a few clouds today as we take off above them. And this is on the low setting, by the way, the Rex clouds, soft clouds. So it's not as if I've set everything to high, because to be honest with clouds it really doesn't matter. It really doesn't bother me whether it's high quality or not. So everything's looking fine. The flight is going to take, I think it's less than an hour, like 40 or 50 minutes. So that's not too long, really. We should be landing very soon. Set the speed intervene to automatic now, because we're approaching 10,000 feet, so the speed restriction is not in play anymore. Landing lights off. And there we go. Nice wing view. So what I'll probably do in a second is just show you around the aircraft a little bit, and then obviously do my regular time lapse showing you some of the scenery on the way to Paris. I'm obviously not going to sit here and drag the video out all the way until we get to Paris, so it's a little bit boring. I don't want to be you know, boring everybody with just sitting there watching me fly the plane and talk about just jargon. So I'll take a look at the aircraft now, and we'll show you some of the views, and I'll catch up with you when we approach the descent path, or when we are actually approaching the localizer and the glide slope. Well, there we go, Air France looking gorgeous as ever. Bit of wing flex there if you notice. Fantastic looking aircraft, I love the 777. Just take a look at the other side, maybe have a look at the front, look at that. It's fantastic. I absolutely love doing videos like this and just like panning around the aircraft. It's great. So anyways, what I will do is I'll leave you with some footage on the way to Paris, and I'll catch up with you once we are on the glide path and the localizer, and once we're established and everything for landing. So I will be right back. Right, so here we are literally on the glide path now into Paris. We've got a little bit of wind, some amazing scenery down there, apart from that little patch which seems to be out of place for some reason, but there we go. Looking fantastic. We've not got a great deal of visibility either on the way down, so it should be pretty challenging, but yeah, so I don't even know where this is. This is obviously somewhere in Paris, but I don't know where. So at the minute we are still under the autopilot control, can't see the runway as of yet. So once we can, I will try to disengage around 1,000 feet and see if we can do a manual landing with minimal sort of effort. Well, not effort, but mistake. We're lined up and everything on the ILS, so that's a good sign for a start. Heading set correctly. Oh, jeez, I've just realised that the runway turn-off lights may have been on for this entire flight. I think I've left them on. I think for some reason they were either on in the beginning and I didn't notice, or I've just turned them on and, like, for some reason, I've no idea. But basically we've just done an entire flight with the runway turn-off lights switched on, so that's a mistake on my part, so I do excuse me. I didn't know, I didn't notice. But anyways, I can't actually see the runway yet. I cannot see a single light or anything. According to the glide slope and everything, we are on track. Oh, hang on a minute. There we go, I can see some lights. Look at that. The FPS is getting hit to hell. There is absolutely nothing I can do about that, unfortunately. This airport is not even an add-on airport, it's stock, but for some reason it just wants to have FPS issues. So the reference speed is 137 on approach, but I'm going to try and just adjust that every now and then. We'll take the autopilot off now, and we'll see if I can do a manual landing, keeping the plane as straight and as accurate as I possibly can, according to those diamonds on the glide path and the localizer. Getting better at doing this, which is a good thing. But we'll see how we go. See how we can line it up. I'm just struggling at the minute. There's a bit of wind blowing us around. You may have noticed that with the amount of wing flex and the moving around that the aircraft were doing. But we are talking about a big aircraft here. It's a 777, so obviously it's going to get blown around quite a bit with the surface area of it. We are at flaps 30, and again, reference speed 137. Trying not to let it dip below there. I usually put it to 140 if it's 137 or 138, because it just makes more sense, just to make sure it doesn't stall. But here we go, we are a bit low. Let's just lift the nose up a tiny little bit and do a bit of turning and see if we can... Oh, we're alright. See if we can make it as smooth as possible. Looking good so far. Come on. Almost there. Almost there. And we are down. There we go. So I'm actually pretty impressed with that. That was a pretty good manual landing, if I don't say so myself. Getting better and better at this. It's just fantastic. Auto brakes are set to 2. Disengage at 60 knots. Don't know whether we're going to take this turn in. But no, we'll just start the APU because the gates are actually quite close. So we want at least a little bit of power to be generated. Turn off the auto throttle. And we will manually now taxi. I'm not going to take that left turning because there's no chance in hell that I'm going to be able to do that yet. I'm not so good at these like really sharp turns. So we'll bring the flaps up. Checklist. That's a bit messed up for some reason. But anyways, we are on the ground. So welcome to Paris. This is just a stock airport. This is not an add-on airport. I might actually buy the airport. It's Charles De Gaulle, I believe it is. I don't know the actual name of the airport. What I do know is we've just landed at runway 08 left. So, and we've made a pretty good landing, if I don't say so myself, considering the fact that there were a few issues with wind and what have you. But yeah, I'm pretty impressed. So again, welcome to Paris. Hope you enjoyed the flight. I will leave you with some of this footage, and you can see me doing the shutdown procedure and everything. But yeah, thanks for watching, and again, look out for the next video. I don't know where I'll be flying to next. Leave me a comment telling me if you have any particular destination that you want me to go to. I'm thinking of doing a extremely long haul flight from either London Gatwick or Doncaster Sheffield to Canada, somewhere in Canada. I'll have a look and see what sort of airports we have over there in Canada, and we'll do a flight and see how that goes. But yeah, hope you enjoyed, guys. Thanks for watching. Check out my other videos. Subscribe if you're not already subscribed. Check out my Twitter and my Facebook. Maybe support me on Patreon if you want to support me on Patreon. It's entirely up to you. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.
Thank you very much. Goodbye.
Okay, goodbye.